So we all stood up, and the next thing I know, I am up on the ceiling looking down at all of us. And the first thought that came into my awareness was, I don't know which one I am. Welcome in, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. Today, I'm spilling all my secrets. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you're new here, I'm so glad you stopped by for this one. I hope you'll consider subscribing while you're here and make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you want all the good stuff, you might want to sign up for my Sunday morning email newsletter. The link is in the description box down below. Every Sunday morning, clearly, I send out a very short, very sweet, very free email newsletter, and in it I list all the cool things I found throughout the week, whether it's a great recipe or a super sale or a good piece of information or something stinking funny that I wanted to share with you. Everything that I would tell you if we were sitting out by the pool having some iced tea, that's what goes in the Sunday morning email newsletter. It's super free, it's super fun, it's super easy to sign up. You just click the link in the description box down below. I think you're going to love it. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking mostly about me and a passion that I've had, gosh, 4 decades now. And that is, and this is a secret, I really don't talk about this to very many people, but I have been absolutely fascinated with the whole topic of NDEs or near-death experiences for decades now. Honestly, I have not met until recently anyone who is a bigger NDE nerd than I am. It started way back in the mid-70s with Dr. Raymond Moody's book, Life After Life. And of course, we go up to Michael Newton, and he had LBL, which is Life Between Lives. And then along came Dr. Evan Alexander, a neurosurgeon that had the most extraordinary near-death experience, wrote the book, Proof of Heaven, and then of course Anita Moorjani, her Dying to Be Me book. Oh, it was just one after another. And here's the funny thing. I was so fascinated with the whole topic of near-death experiences and what happens after we die and what's the nature of our reality, what's really going on here, that I would talk to people and they'd tell me a book and I'd say, I already read it twice and I have it on Kindle. It was one of those kind of things where I just followed the breadcrumbs and learned and learned and learned and learned about the whole topic until I was probably one of the best read people I had ever met on the whole topic of NDEs and just the nature of our reality. It really has been kind of a little hidden secret and one of my, I don't know if you would call it hobbies or passions, or I was just fascinated with the entire topic because for me it was kind of like unlocking the door to what are we actually doing here and what actually is this reality system? What's really going on here? Are we the only ones in the universe? Is this all we do is have this life? What happens after we don't have this life? What happened before we had this life? All those topics were extremely fascinating to me. And every book that would come out, and then of course we had YouTube and I could watch YouTube videos, and then I grew interested in psychics and I grew interested in channelers. The whole topic for me is just been something that I was so fascinated with that I ended up learning so much just as a result of my passion that I really didn't understand how much I'd really learned about the whole topic until recently. Way back when I was living in Northern California in that little studio that overlooked the Pacific Ocean, you guys might remember that was when I first started my channel. Well, it's the middle of the night and I've got to get up and go to the bathroom, as we do. And this place is tiny. It's really a one-room studio with a little bathroom in the middle. So I get up, walk into the bathroom, sit down, and the next thing that I realize is there's someone standing right over there. I can feel them and I can still see that person in my mind. It was a male. And I'm sitting there on the toilet. Now, he's not in physical, but I know he's there. I can sense it. So I'm sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? And just then, Dex, the cat, he was a younger cat, comes around the corner into the bathroom, doing the low crawl, hackles up, looking right over in that corner. And I went, you're totally busted. You gotta leave. And he did. My interest in uncovering the truth about our reality system really has not waned over the decades. There's times that I've sort of put it aside and got really involved in what's going on here on Earth, being a human, that sort of thing, but I would always come back and always be drawn in by a new book or a new conversation I saw or a new experience that someone had. It always was something that I thought was so relevant and so very fascinating because it gave me clues to our existence here and the meaning of our existence and our connectedness as a civilization, as the human collective. I even became so fascinated several years back that I ended up getting certified as a past life regression therapist. And I actually did that for about a year. I worked with people through hypnosis to take them back to past lives. It was a very, very fun part of my journey, and I learned so much. In addition, and this might be funny for some of you, and I'll go ahead and link the information on this down below, I had a channel before I started this channel, and it was all about the whole topic of the nature of our reality. I have some sessions where I did QHHT or past life regression therapy on clients. Of course, they approved the fact that I recorded them. And I also have several interviews with mediums that I had connected with and learned about over the years. So I'd done that channel before I ever started this channel. Well, long story short, and I don't know if it was me and not being confident or if it just was where we were at the time, the channel just ended up almost going nowhere. It didn't get any traction. I still have less than, I think, 300 subscribers over there, even though it's still up. I'll have it listed down below. You guys can go over there and take a look. So the next thing that I did professionally was I started this channel, Pretty Over 50, and it ended up being successful. And I really have had such a great time going on this skincare journey with all of you. I really wanted to find out if what we'd been told was true, that you can't change your skin unless you go to a doctor. And I found out that that's not true. You really can do a lot to change your skin. So fast forward to today, and I am still incredibly fascinated with this whole topic. And I'm still probably more knowledgeable about the topic than anybody I've met. I have come across someone else who is a bigger NDE nerd than I am. He's written a book and just a delightful man. So here I am. I've got this great channel. I'm having a whole lot of fun, but I'm getting pushed. And I can't figure out what I'm getting pushed about. I'm looking around thinking, why does it feel like I'm not doing something that I'm supposed to be doing? And I would try some different hobby, or I would try this project, or I'd try this project, and it didn't quite get there. And I was just having this push. If you've ever had that, you know what I'm talking about. So I thought that it might be around doing more of a deep dive into the topic of the nature of our reality and what's really going on here on the planet Earth. This was a time when I was spending a lot of time by myself. I was doing a lot of solo hiking, and I was also doing a lot of meditating and journaling. Like I was meditating maybe 2 hours a day and doing a lot of journaling. One of the things that started happening to me was I kept getting this word into my head, and the word was bitterroot. Well, the fact is that I don't know that I'd ever really knew what bitterroot was. I think it was an ingredient for cooking. I'd never used the word, never really thought about the word, never really heard the word. I mean, it was just one of those things that I wasn't that familiar with. However, when I would go hiking by myself into the woods, the word bitterroot just kept popping up into my head. Not only that, but when I was journaling, writing out my dreams, writing out my desires, writing out my things that I wanted in my life, just journaling, I kept getting the word bitterroot in my head. Bitterroot. And I started writing it down, just bitterroot. It was as if someone was standing next to me saying bitterroot over and over and over again. Well, it became so much of a thing that I finally decided I'm going to find out what bitterroot is. So I looked up bitterroot, and what I found out is that bitterroot is the state flower of Montana. Here's the kicker. I had just moved to Montana about 6 weeks earlier. So I want to go back to that time that I was in the room and I ended up on the ceiling. Way back when I was in my 30s, I belonged to a women's group. And it was one of those kind of groups where you all got together. It was a little hippy-dippy, but not totally hippy-dippy. And we talk about our feelings and what we thought about life, and we would just share. And all of us had been together in this group for, gosh, I think almost a couple of years. And we met every week, and we knew each other really intimately. And we shared, and we would get together for a couple of hours once a week, and we talk and this and that. So the night that I had this experience, it was after we had finished our little group, our little women's group, and we all stood up. And the next thing I knew, I'm up on the ceiling looking down at all of us. And I'll tell you what, I still remember clearly how I felt. And you know how I felt? I felt exactly like me. Exactly like me, with one difference. And I'll try to explain it. You know how you're going along and you can be happy and carefree, but at every moment of every day, there's that kind of chatter in the back of your head, like, oh, did I take dinner out of the freezer? Oh, I've got to call that and make that appointment. Did I get that stuff? Did I send that letter? Did I pay that bill? Where are the kids? Who's picking them up? You know, that constant chatter that we have in our heads all the time about what we're supposed to be doing here on earth? That was gone, completely gone. And my thought pattern was crystalline clear, like really like crystalline clear. And the feeling that I had when I was up there on the ceiling was almost like champagne bubbles. I felt bubbly and I felt kind of giggly and very, very happy and very, very clear and crystalline. And I was exactly me without all that kind of heaviness that comes with being here on earth. And what I remember next, you know, I experienced that reality or that beingness, that lighthearted beingness. And then the next thought that came into my awareness was, I don't know which one of those people down there I am. And right when that awareness kind of hit me, boom, I was back in my body again. And I've never forgotten that. And gosh, it's been what, 30-something years? And I can still feel that exact reality that I was in. And I was just me. I was just me without all the background noise. So this fascination has never left me, clearly. And I started thinking I should do something with it. And I thought maybe I should start a YouTube channel on the experience of NDEs, on the experience of psychics, on the experience of channelers, on the experience of what's going on the planet. And I really struggled with it for a long time. And I talked to some girlfriends about it, and I was just really unsure. And when it came down to it, what I was unsure about is that I wasn't clear on my motivation. I didn't want it to be coming from my ego. In other words, I didn't want to do it just as an ego-driven decision. I wanted it to be something really clear and really clean and really just in alignment with what was important to me. So I ended up scheduling a session with a very lovely woman. Her name is Cindy Edison, and she channels the collective Joseph. And Joseph is very similar in its complexity to Abraham, who is channeled by Esther Hicks. And you might know Abraham Hicks. They're very famous at this juncture. So I had this session with Cindy, and she was channeling Joseph, and I was talking to Joseph about doing this channel because I was really conflicted. I didn't want it to be something that I was doing to get attention or to just talk about me or talk about what was important to me. I wanted to know if it was something that was coming from a pure place. Even though I was getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, I couldn't see it clearly. So I asked Joseph about it, and I said this line. I said, does the world really need another spirituality channel? And I literally got eye-rolled. Literally, Joseph eye-rolled me. And right in that minute, I understood that I had put myself in the middle of it. And that wasn't the issue. I had made it all about me when it wasn't about me. What it was about was getting that vibration out there. getting that information out there. And of course, the world needs more channels on spirituality because that's who we are. We're spiritual beings having a human earthly existence. And I was confusing my fascination with the topic with it being about me. And what I realized all of a sudden is that getting that energy out there, getting that vibration out there is the most important thing. And at that minute, right in that moment, I made the decision, okay, I'm going to do it. And you know what happened next? That pushing stopped. All of a sudden, it was peaceful in my head. I was clear and focused. And that push, push, push went to go, go, go. It was a lazy day back in that little studio up in Northern California overlooking the Pacific Ocean. I didn't have anything to do that day. I'd already meditated probably around 45 minutes or an hour. And I literally was shuffling around the house in my slippers and robe. It was really cold and I was just doing nothing. That day I had no plans. I was very relaxed and I thought, oh, you know what? I think I'll go back and make the bed. So I walked back to that part of the little studio, which took me about, 8 steps or something. It was so tiny. And I began to make the bed. And the next thing that happened was I had this entire scene open up in front of me. And the scene was of the United States. And my vantage point was if I was above the state of California. So I'm looking down the entire United States from the West Coast to the East Coast. Now, mind you, I had just walked in to make my bed, and the next thing I know, I'm standing looking at the entire United States. And what I notice next is that there's all these locations that are lit up across the country. The next thing I notice is that above each one of these locations is data. It was almost as if it was a holographic version of data. And that data is kind of moving around, and it's everything from communications like emails and letters and phone calls. It's also conversations, it's plans, it's plane tickets. It's all this data hovering above each one of these locations in the US that is lit up. Now, the thing I want to tell you is that my vision of that and my understanding that I'm going to tell you next, it was immediate. It was as if I went from a gal making the bed to someone who had all this information and all this understanding and all this data integrated, and I understood it perfectly. And not only did I understand perfectly the data, but I also understood the emotional component behind it. In other words, everything having to do with the topic, I understood intimately. And what I realized as I was looking across the United States at all these locations, it was an issue that we have in the US. I'm not going to specify it because it's such a hot topic. It's such a hot button. The comment section will just go crazy. But what I can tell you is all those locations that were lit up, what I knew instantly is those events were planned. They were planned. They were orchestrated down to the T. And I had all that data above each one of those locations that I understood perfectly. And I could see them across the entire United States. And it was a situation where I saw it and I knew it and I understood it immediately. And the information was so impactful that I was really standing there saying, holy shit. Sorry about the language, but that's exactly what I thought is, wow, it really, really set me back. And that vision was in front of me and then it folded up and disappeared. And I have a clear recollection of all that information and everything that transpired. And I'll tell you what, it was probably one of the most wild experiences I've ever had. And then what did I do next? I went and did the dishes. At Journey to the New Earth, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into all the topics around our reality system, the truth of where we are, who we are in the galaxy and the universe, everything having to do with the journey of humanity as we step into this new evolution is going to be covered on the channel. I have been doing interviews one after another for the last several weeks, and I am so excited to share them with you. I have had such a great time. And the interesting thing is that even though it's been a whole lot of work, it really has. It has been so fun. And every day I'm excited to pop out of bed and get busy on this new journey. I have learned so much. I've made so many wonderful connections. And I think the content over on Journey to the New Earth is going to be interesting and exciting and so very worthwhile. The link to the new channel is in the description box down below, and we have 4 at least videos for you to watch today. They're exciting, they're interesting, they're with wonderful people who've had enormously significant experiences that we as a human collective can learn from. For me, this is one of the most exciting things that I have done in my life, other than have kids. That was pretty doggone exciting to share this information with you, to take you on this journey, to learn all this wonderful information that helps to open up the secret of who we are on the planet, where we're headed, and what it really means to be human on the planet Earth. Before I close today and send you all over to Journey to the New Earth, I want to share something that I think is important that I learned from this journey and from my struggle of trying to find out what I was being pushed on, what my spirit guides would not stop talking to me about and not stop pushing me about. And that is, if you're getting pushed, if you feel like there's something you should be doing, there is. They don't fiddle around. That little thing that you keep thinking that you should be doing, but you feel like you don't have the time, that little idea that you have that keeps coming up and keeps coming up and keeps coming up, that keeps coming up for a reason. And I know that now more clearly than ever. I think I've always known it, at least for the last 35, 40 years, but I know it now on a different level. Where I got tripped up is I put myself in the middle of it. And when spirit or universe or source is really encouraging you to do something, it's because we need it. We need that from you. We need that information. And it's going to help move us all forward. It's going to help us on our journey as we move forward. So if you feel like there's a little something that you need to be doing, or there's a little something that you can't stop thinking about, there's a reason. Because that's what you need to be putting your energy into. And I hope that my journey or struggle to finally come to this place of having so much fun, of being extremely peaceful about my journey, and having a great time sharing this wonderful information with the planet, I hope that that is helpful for you on your own journey. Now, before I leave, I know some of you are saying, wait, are you still going to be doing Pretty Over 50? And the answer is absolutely. This is where we have girl fun. And I wouldn't want to walk away from this. This is such a great time for me. And you know, it's almost that I'm having more fun with this channel now because I'm able to get out that information that was so important to me in another format. So definitely, I hope you'll stop by Journey to the New Earth. It is listed in the description box down below. We have at least 4 videos. I'm not sure yet how many are going to be up today, but they're all ready and waiting for you. I'm very, very proud of them. They're with people that are wonderful and interesting and really working very hard for humanity. I hope you'll take a few minutes and join us over there. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you share it with all the girlfriends that you know that you think would find it interesting. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. You guys know it just makes my day when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. Again, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. I hope you'll come on over to Journey to the New Earth. I'm waiting there for you.